Hi, everybody. I'm Chris Preimesberger, editor of eWEEK.com. Thank you very much for joining us today for this latest segment of eWEEK eSpeaks. It's a series of casual conversations with IT thought leaders from every corner of the business. Our interviewee today is Stephen Spector, and Stephen is the Vice President of Marketing of Buurst, B-U-U-R-S-T. And I'm really excited to find out about the company and the name, Stephen. Welcome.
Sure. Well, thank you for having me. It's fun to be on eWEEK. I remember when eWEEK used to be a big, large journal I'd get at my company office. Used to get those things. I guess those days are over now. It's all video.
We used to have, a lot of it's video. We still do it. We still do a lot of articles, but that I remember before I came to eWEEK, it was PC Week back then, and it was a huge kind of almost like a catalog. It was huge. It was like people used to tell me it would land with a plop on their front porch, and they knew that eWEEK was there.
That's funny.
So go ahead, tell me about yourself.
Yeah, so I joined. I joined Buurst about 6 months ago, and we are a data performance company. We've been around. I think we were founded in 2000. Let's see, 7 or 8 years. I always get it confused. Our chief technical officer, Rick Brady, is the founder of the company. He was previously the CTO of Citrix, where I was for many years. And there's a great many Citrites here at Buurst now. And he was working at a company after Citrix where he was running into, how do I move my storage? At the time, cloud storage was just emerging. People were looking like, I have all this space. It's costing me a lot to host my own storage, have everything on-prem. And so he came up with a product that he called SoftNAS. And at the time when he launched the company's name was SoftNAS. NAS is a network attached storage. And the idea was, instead of having a physical hardware device, it would be a virtual software network attached storage. So SoftNAS was a logical name. About a year ago, the company started to move towards a second product. And it's really an exciting time for the company now. When you go from one product to two, it really changes everything. As someone who's been working on the website and messaging, when you have one product, everything is around that one product, and you switch to two, it's a lot of work to adjust those type of things. And now with the rise of Edge, I always say the rise of Edge, and it's growing so rapidly, and there's so much happening. So we've released a new product called Fusion, and of course it has to have 2 U's, staying in our Buurst W brand that was created last year. And so Fusion is a product based on Edge and how to do data storage and data performance from the Edge as well.
Okay, so this is strictly a SaaS product, Stephen?
So the SoftNAS product is a software as a service, yes. So it sits on a VM on AWS, Azure, VMware. With VMware, we can deliver on-prem as well as in the cloud. And on the AWS side, the Outpost solution, which it is cloud, but it's still on-prem cloud. I'm not sure the exact space we say, but with the Outpost, we can run on that in your data center as well. The Fusion product is very different. The Fusion product is about connecting your edge data back to your cloud or moving data from the cloud to the edge, which is not something we think about a lot. I think we always think, I have all this data at the edge, I need to get it in the cloud, but there's plenty of opportunities to take data from the cloud and put it in the edge. So our Fusion is not a SaaS product in the same way that SoftNAS is.
Yeah, I can't tell you how many trends you're touching on. Just a few sentences here.
Oh, I know all the buzz. I have all the buzzwords for you in 10 minutes.
But this is what the future's all about, and that's what eWEEK likes to look at. We like to look ahead. It's to see what the trends are, so that we can tell buyers of IT, hey, this is what Buurst is working on down the line. This is what they've come out with. How does that fit into your system? How does that make your data more efficient, et cetera? So so that's what I want to drill down into a little bit more, Stephen, is would you consider Buurst to be an observability type tool or not? Because what you are is you're measuring data performance, but what else are you doing? And is that too much of a reach to say it fits into the observability
I think
spectrum?
Rather than being in the idea of measuring, we're actually the tool that delivers the performance. So I would say observability is not quite the right space. A great example is, let's look at SoftNAS and let's talk about VDI, right? I like to talk about VDI a lot because people think about, well, I have my virtual desktops, I have my thin clients, or now thin clients are now going, I guess they're now, it's software going on your laptops. And being an old Citrus guy, it's amazing to me that it costs less money to put the thin client hardware than it is to buy a software, which is just the thin client somehow is more expensive on your machine. Brilliant, brilliant marketing, and shame on me for not thinking about that 15 years ago when I was at Citrix. But again, we think about the VDIs and performance, the user experience. If it doesn't feel like you are using a local application, your users in your company will walk away from VDI and they'll be unhappy. And the interesting thing to me is the actual ability to make them happy sits in the data behind the VDI, behind the virtual desktops in the machine. And then you have to go get the data, get the profiles, as an example, if you think of user profiles. There's all sorts of things. So SoftNAS is a solution that sits behind VDI, whether it's on S3 or EFS or Azure Files. And what we do is we can prioritize the data. We can make it accessible faster. We can do better jobs caching, these kind of things. So the user experience in the VDI, for example, can become incredibly dependent on what we do in the back end. And it's one of those spaces that often people don't think about. And we talk to a lot of VDI companies now, and they're beginning to understand, here's the use cases we offer, and our use cases all match up to the problems their customers have. So that really moves us into improving customers' experience by how you store data, how you access data, and how fast you can move that data in the clouds. It's a big area that I think people are just starting to understand it now. We all get cloud. I think the days of what is cloud are over. Now it's the days of what is edge, but there's still not a lot of thinking about, oh, I just dump it in storage and I access it. Well, there's a lot more you can do in that storage and to get that data moving faster for key applications.
Yeah, a lot of people thought VDI was dead, not too long ago, and yeah, it's not, and it's always been there. It's always been a very functional, very good alternative way to run a system. But now it's gotten new life, it seems like. Is that fair enough?
There is a ton of new life, and I know VDI now. There's WMV. I mean, the acronyms go on and on now, so there's too many acronyms for me to keep track of.
Mhm.
But certainly, it is growing. We talk to a lot of partners. Between VMware, companies like Igel, who just took a huge funding and were purchased, I believe. It's exploding, and I think it's exploding because now that everyone has their own machines at homes, right? Most of us work at home now, which has been the new COVID change. Boy, I want access to the corporate world, but it's on my own personal machine. IT is more comfortable. There's more security. There's more management. Having you, slice off a piece of that machine, go into the servers. So it's going to keep growing. It has certainly not gone away at all. It's one of those things that never stops. And I can give you another example, Chris, of something that we've come across with Fusion. I like to call it sneaker net. Now, I guess only people as old as myself maybe know what sneaker net is. But with Fusion, the ability to move data from the edge to the cloud, or either way, we are running across an enormous amount of companies. And what's actually happening is they are putting people on airplanes. This is unbelievable. It's still happening. I was told it's dead, with USB sticks or with hard drives. And they're flying them around the world to either get data off of machines on a ship, on a hotel, who knows, and then bring it back, or make data go the other way. I need to upgrade. An example, if you have a container ship, I know we're all obsessed with ships after the Suez Canal, but just think about it. There's software on those ships that need to be updated. They're still doing it where they actually fly people out to the ships, they get on it and they update it. Fusion really is about allowing you to securely do that over high latency networks. That's really our big space. But this idea that sneaker net is dead, no, it's still there. We just don't talk about it anymore. It's become accepted. And I have to be honest with you. I was really surprised when this hit us as we started to take Fusion out and talk to customers. So VDI, SneakerNet, all the old stuff, it's still there. Nothing has gone away. Maybe the names changed, or people just forgot that it was a problem, and now they just have adjusted.
What's old is new again, and sometimes
Yeah.
the new again is much better than the old. I just thought about it. We do every month we do this thing called eWEEK chat at eWEEK.
Yeah.
We started 7, 8 years ago, and it's a community, a live a Twitter chat conversation. And and in June of this year, June 8th, we're going to be talking about this topic. I wish we could talk about it sooner, but we're already booked with other topics. This will be very fun. I'd like to invite you to come on
No,
and
I will.
share your
Click on
expertise.
it. And Chris, I have to tell you that one of the funny things is when I said, "Oh my God, it's SneakerNet," and sent an email out within our company, and you can tell how long someone's been in the industry by the responses of SneakerNet. I haven't heard of that. That's hilarious. Versus, what are you talking about? And then I had to go pull up like old computer dictionary terms in the web to explain it. So that means I've been in the industry too long, I think.
No, no, that means you're quite steeped in history and you've seen the evolution and you're
Yeah.
valuable.
Thank you.
So Stephen, yeah, like me too. We've seen the evolution. I started in this business when the internet started in the 90s. So in this part of journalism, I was in other journalism before that, but I've seen the evolution too. And it's it's up to people like us to remind those new young people coming up, hey, you don't know everything. You haven't seen everything. You ain't seen nothing yet. So anyway, Steve, we got a minute or two left, so we need to wrap it up. Can you just tell me, maybe we did talk about some trends in this already, so maybe we don't need to do that. But if someone were to be interested in what Buurst has, how would they get a hold of you? They just go to the website and contact you, or what?
So we have lots of ways. So Burst.com with the 2 U's. They did the rebrand, and actually I think coming up in like 2 weeks will be our 1-year anniversary. And I think they did it on the 15th on tax day. I was not here when that decision was made, but I have to do some research to find that out, but it's very interesting. Yeah, Burst.com. I am very active on Twitter. My handle is Spector ID for Spector Idaho. For some, I don't know, whenever I have to do my Twitter handle changes, I just add the state. So it's Spector ID. We also have Buurst. We are active on Twitter. We're active on LinkedIn. We have a Vimeo feed of videos, although not a lot of people use Vimeo anymore, I'm told, but we do all sorts of neat things with it. So our video team likes it. So we are there. Our website, we have contact us, everything. And I'm happy to, chat with anyone, talk technology, or talk old college sports, as we sometimes did earlier.
Yeah.
And we also have a podcast, and it's a new starting podcast called Talkin' Buurst Data. We are always looking for new guests to come on and talk about various ideas of data. It's not necessarily connected to the company. We just run it and try to find guests to educate people.
I forgot to ask you, what kinds of companies are you selling to right now? Are there particular verticals that are strongest for you, or what?
So our biggest vertical, and you can guess what it is because we are based in Houston, Texas. Our biggest vertical is the energy sector right now. Clearly, we have some pretty big customers with Halliburton and Schlumberger as examples. But we are really cross vertical. Media and entertainment is growing. We just joined the Studio Alliance. We have a lot of legal. We have healthcare. A lot of financial, especially high tech financial in the cloud, making sure that everything is there. So really, in government, I would say. So it's one of those things where there isn't a particular vertical, but we do happen to have more customers because of our location in Houston.
Gotcha. All right, Stephen Spector, who's the Vice President of Marketing at Buurst, Buurst. Don't forget that spelling. Thank you very much, Stephen, for being on our show today, and we should continue the conversation at a later date and get an update.
Certainly, and thank you for inviting me. I enjoyed it very much.
Okay, for everybody following along to the end, thank you very much. Have a great rest of your eWEEK. Thanks for joining us on eWEEK eSpeaks. Go to eWEEK.com to hear more conversations with IT thought leaders.